Welcome back to Houston Life. Known for its cabaret style and interactive performances, the Houston Musical Theater Company is back with their premiere of My Favorite Things, the songs of Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Okay, so it's featuring their most beloved songs from Oklahoma, The Sound of Music. Derek loves The Sound of Music.
Of course, who doesn't?
The King and I, and more. The show promises to be a delightful experience for all musical lovers, and we are so lucky to have one of the stars from the show in Studio B with us. Daniel Lopez, welcome to Houston Life.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Okay, so this is something that has really changed the scene, right? Rodgers and Hammerstein, and this is really someone who paved the way for what theater is now. So how important is that, and why are you so excited about it?
Yes, it's so exciting. You know, they are composers that were active in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, and so much of their music is still so relevant and, you know, can be touched so many people in different ways, which is so wonderful.
What I think is so incredible, Daniel, sorry to jump in, but this is very nostalgic, Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yes.
I mean, they were composers. They won Oscars, Tonys, Grammys, even a Pulitzer, or two Pulitzers, I believe, right? And a lot of us, they really are like the fabric of our culture. So for you, what's it like to be a performer? Welcome to Houston, by the way. You moved here a year and a half ago. We're so glad to have you. And for you to perform these classic songs with an ensemble, it's got to feel good.
What is so fabulous about singing these songs that, like you said, are so nostalgic is once just the first notes start, you can feel the change of the audience and the energy and the excitement that they get from hearing, you know, those wonderful songs from Sound of Music that is your favorite, you know, Oklahoma, The King and I, South Pacific. They're just such wonderful, you know, intrinsic part of our society that everyone knows, you know, one of these songs, which is so lovely. And to feel that energy from the audience and see them mouthing along or, you know, humming along, it's unlike any other energy. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, and Houston Musical Theater Company, this venue where this is performing, it's actually quite intimate, right? How is that, how is performing in this specific venue been?
It is. So we are heading back to the Match, the Midtown Arts and Center Theater over in Midtown. And we are doing a more intimate, small venue this time around, and exactly for those reasons that I stated. Those songs are so personal and so beloved by so many people that getting to do it in such a small, intimate venue and to just be enwrapped by the music is something that we're so excited to do.
Yeah.
Also, being a performer, you're always wearing a lot of hats, not just in terms of the different roles you're playing and singing. You do a million things. You teach the Stars of Tomorrow with student stars of River Oaks.
I do, yes. You know, trying to build up the little ones, you know, to, you know, take over and, you know, step in our footsteps, you know, down the line, which is really
That's fantastic. Daniel, by the way, originally from Tucson, Arizona, you earned your BFA in musical theater at the University of Arizona, and you also performed at Sundance at Utah.
Yes, and yes, as you know, you're familiar being from Salt Lake City, just absolutely breathtaking there, and we actually performed Oklahoma there, so kind of just goes to show that these shows are always in rotation, they're always being done, and always just have such an impact, you know, with the beautiful scores and, you know.
I mean, he already said it once, but we're so glad when a talent decides to make Houston their home. So we're so glad to have you. We're lucky. Why is it important, though, that these favorites are still being sung and they're still, you know, why is it important that audience do go and really relive these classics?
You know, it's just to keep these alive, you know, of course, all the new stuff out there is so incredible. But like Derek mentioned earlier, these really laid the foundation for musical theater. That golden age is, you know, what we refer to those, you know, that era as. And it's just so important to keep those alive. They just teach us so many things in terms of, you know, musically, but also their messages are still so relevant today, which is really fantastic.
And those messages, I mean, whether it's The King and I or Sound of Music or South Pacific, Rodgers and Hammerstein were composers who truly, Daniel, were ahead of their time because they were dealing with issues of racism and cultural problems.
Right.
Yes, you know, so you have things like The King and I, where you have this racial, you know, couple falling in love and the trials and the tribulations that come with that, two vastly different cultures coming together. You know, it's, you know, way back in the 40s and the 50s, we think of it as being something that is only relevant now, but they were so ahead of their time in jumping into those, you know, issues and doing it beautifully through song.
And really making the shift, right? Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to the theater, this is going to be light and whimsical and airy, but no, actually, this is going to be this is going to make you think. This is going to be thought-provoking, right?
Exactly, and just so far ahead of their time, there's a lesser-known Rodgers and Hammerstein musical called Flower Drum Song, and that was one of the first Broadway musicals to really focus on an immigrant family and immigrant culture, and they were doing this back in the 40s and the 50s. They were so ahead of their time in, bringing those issues to the forefront, and again, doing it through song and music.
Imagine the hot button that caused in the 40s. Right?
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Flower Drum Song is a beautiful show. Okay, so here is the info you got to know. So Saturday and Sunday, my favorite things, the songs of Rodgers and Hammerstein, January 27th and 28th. The shows are at 2 and 8 p.m. The Sunday matinee is only at 2 p.m. Match Houston, $38 is the regular price, $32 if you're a student or a senior. And you can also get 15% off using the promo code HL15. So when you're checking out online, just use that promo code. But Daniel Lopez, we are not done with you yet. I understand you have some trivia for us.
He's not done with us. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. So ready to see if you know some of this Rodgers and Hammerstein trivia.
Go for it.
I'm going to try my best.
So you're going to ask us a question, and then we have 20 seconds to come up with a final answer each.
Exactly.
Okay,
yes.
let's do it. 20
Question
seconds on the
number
clock.
one.
Okay.
Here we go. Which female performer starred in The Sound of Music in 1965 and the live TV broadcast of Cinderella in 1957? Starting off easy with this one.
Easy? What's her name? I don't know her.
Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews, duh.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Okay,
Yes.
He got that one. I had no idea.
What's her name? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, tell us.
Julie Andrews, the legend.
Yes, Dame Julie Andrews.
She is a star.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay, number two, here we go. What actor starred in the leading role in both the original Broadway production and the film version of The King and I?
I knew you were going to say that.
Gosh,
and you know
I
what?
don't
Ben
know.
Kingsley is stuck in my head, but he was the more recent star.
Yes.
Give us a hint.
Do we have multiple choice? Like
Let's jump in. So I'm going to give you a few
Yul
options
Brynner.
here.
It was Yul Brynner.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I
Right,
thought it was
Tessa?
Marlon Brando.
No, Yul Brynner. And Shall We Dance is one of the best musical scenes.
Most iconic
Okay, Heather
Broadway.
goes in my ear. Derek's winning, if you're counting. Thank you. Thank you. No, I wasn't,
Nobody's
but I am.
counting.
Okay.
You got another one?
Yes, let's see.
Okay, last
Okay,
question.
this is- these are getting
this
harder.
is the hard one. In South Pacific, what unique activity does the lead character, Nellie Forbush, do in every performance?
Sing.
She does sing.
I won
I
that
might
one.
take that as a correct answer.
Obviously.
Derek,
It's a musical, Tessa.
Hey,
Oh,
cartwheel.
very famous song.
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair.
You knew
that
it.
one?
Yes.
There she is.
Iconic.
She's got her hair. And this must have been a scandalous moment. I mean, look at that. She's in a two-piece bathing
Oh,
suit.
wow.
Back then, scandal. Daniel Lopez and Rodgers and Hammerstein, thank you for bringing the
That was
scandal
awesome.
to
That was
Studio
fun.
Bill today. Good job. We're glad you moved to Houston and the show. Mark your calendars.
Yes.
Reminder,
Yes.
my favorite things, the songs of Rodgers and Hammerstein happening this weekend. Houston Musical Theater Company is offering, as a reminder, 15% off for tickets to their performances. That promo code is HL15. Use it when you're checking out.